3, 2, 1, ignition.
The colonization of Mars could happen within the next couple of years, according to Elon Musk. How is this journey even possible? And what are the insane technologies that SpaceX is developing right now to build a Mars colony? In this video, we'll be breaking down how Elon and SpaceX are planning to reach Mars as soon as 2024. Before we continue, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Next Vision if you haven't already. And let us know in the comments below if you think SpaceX can reach Mars by 2024. Mars is only a stone's throw away, right? According to NASA, the distance between Earth and Mars is around 60 million kilometers. Compared to Earth and Moon's distance of about 385,000 kilometers, Mars is more than 150 times further away from the Earth than the Moon is. That's why a rocket that could travel to Mars has to be several times more efficient than what would be required for a Moon mission. But how long would the journey to Mars actually take? Previously unmanned attempts to reach Mars took around 4 to 11 months. Elon Musk and SpaceX project their flagship rocket, the Starship, could reach Mars in around 6 months. The journey to Mars, however, can vary a lot in time, since Earth and Mars both orbit the Sun independently. Every other year, the distance is short enough for the mission to take around 6 months. And the next close approach between both planets will happen in December 2022, which aligns perfectly with Elon's plans to reach Mars before 2024. What rockets is SpaceX currently producing that could take on this voyage? SpaceX has a full arsenal of rockets, and each of them has proven its versatility and functionality. Their top rocket models since they were founded include Falcon 1, Falcon 9, and Falcon Heavy. Of these top rockets, only Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy are still being produced. They have collectively undergone about 131 total mission launches, achieving success 129 times, partial success in 1 and just 1 in-flight failure. But the rocket that is capable of transporting humans and cargo to Mars and beyond is the Starship. Starship is about 45 meters high, which is almost as tall as a 15-story building. It will be able to transport 100 passengers and upwards of 100 tons of cargo, which means one Starship can transport more than 40 Tesla Model X's. Impressive, right? Starship is currently the most advanced spacecraft in the world. It consists of a booster attached to the spacecraft called Super Heavy and the actual Starship, both of which are made of pure stainless steel. When asked to explain the thought process behind Musk's choice of the material, Elon pointed out that stainless steel is cheaper compared to common materials used for building rockets like carbon fiber. Carbon fiber costs around $100,000 per ton, while a ton of stainless steel only costs about $1,300. If SpaceX were to build a Starship with carbon fiber instead of stainless steel, they would spend about 27 times more money on material just for a single rocket. SpaceX is planning to build between 20 and 30 Starships between now and 2030. They've already started working on the Raptor engines, which is the most challenging part of the project, and they plan to build about 800 to 1,000 of these engines every year. The Raptor is a new type of engine patented by SpaceX that is powered by methane fuel. This technology has never been used for spaceflight before. But how will Starship reach Mars and return back to Earth? The voyage is divided into 6 stages. Stage 1, launch. The greatest challenge is presented with the rocket needing a high-powered booster system to function. The Super Heavy booster has been designed specifically for this purpose. Its 32 Raptor engines will launch Starship into Earth's orbit. Following that, the booster will detach from the spacecraft and return to the Earth's surface. Stage 2, Starship arrives in Earth's orbit. Starship will pass through outer layers of the Earth's atmosphere to reach the Earth's orbit. At the same time, a refueling tanker launches from Earth to meet up with Starship. Stage 3, tankers refill ship. Starship will be refilled by the tanker to be able to take on the 6-month-long journey to Mars. After that, the tanker returns to Earth's surface, just like the Super Heavy booster. Stage 4, voyage to Mars. Finally, the trip to Mars begins. Starship will begin its journey from Earth's orbit around the Sun, finally landing on Mars after 6 months of traveling through space. Stage 5, refueling on Mars. Starship will be refilled on Mars by using local resources such as water and carbon dioxide that can be found in the planet's atmosphere. The goal is to synthesize fuel for the journey back to Earth. However, this remains a theory until the first fully manned voyage is carried out. The first missions will only test the possibility of synthesizing methane from water and CO2. Stage 6, return to Earth. Starship will use the synthesized fuel and directly return to Earth after uploading its cargo on Mars. After another 6 months, it'll land back on Earth and complete its journey. But when will the first Starship finally launch? The first uncrewed voyage of Starship will occur in 2024, but the first crewed mission will happen 2 years later. SpaceX plans to send about 100 people on the Starship to the Red Planet for their particular mission. Elon also said that he plans to launch at least a dozen test Starships in 2022, which would start in January to evaluate the performance of the rocket prototypes. 100 people seems like a fair enough figure for a project in its preliminary stages. Over time, this number is expected to rise gradually until millions of people are on Mars. Elon plans to get at least 1 million people to Mars by the year 2050. Doesn't that sound a bit too ambitious? As history shows, there has been no manned mission to Mars since space exploration began. The first trip to Mars dates back to 1971. Initially, Mars 2 was a spacecraft sent up to the Red Planet. It succeeded in getting to Mars, but crash-landed on its surface. Following that, Mars 3 was launched, which set a record as the first spaceship to make a safe landing on Mars. So, will it even be possible to transport humans to Mars in the next few years, as Elon Musk predicts? Several challenges could arise for this project. The first problem would be the quality and the design of the spacecraft, and the ability to manage fuel. Many questions remain about how powerful today's technology can be to overcome the challenges of space travel, especially to such a great distance as to Mars. The health of the astronauts and passengers also has to be considered. It is possible that space travel over such a great distance and duration could cause some health complications for anyone on board due to the intense radiation and microgravity in space. Since Elon Musk's mission to reach Mars will be the first human-crewed spaceflight to another planet, one can only speculate what the real risks are. What are Elon Musk's and SpaceX's plans on Mars after spaceship landed, and how long will the mission on Mars take? The human-crewed flight to Mars would be the first of its kind. On its journey, it would be accompanied by a handful of scientists and the astronauts who will carry out detailed comparative studies about the resources on Mars that could help sustain life on the Red Planet. The trip might have only taken a few months, but the research could take years with data sent back to Earth for evaluation. Certain factors would be considered to determine just how long the mission would last. Since Mars doesn't have enough oxygen to sustain human life, the scientists would have to rely on artificial oxygen, and the extent to which it can be produced and stored on Mars will determine the length of the first mission. Elon Musk and SpaceX envision even more than just a couple science missions to Mars in the next few years. Elon has projected that about 1 million people would be able to settle down on Mars by 2050, and more than 1,000 Starships would be built and launched, along with other privately owned Mars missions to go with it and make space travel as well as living on Mars affordable. Humanity is sure to grow into the uncertain prospect that Mars and other planets might hold for society. Predictions are that we might be able to preserve Earth's waning resources and overcome the threats of global warming by establishing a new Earth on Mars in a not-so-distant future. What would happen if the first Starship launch is a success? The success of the Mars mission and Elon's visions would surely lead to mass colonization. This relocation could significantly reduce the Earth's population and mutually benefit people on Earth and Mars. A portion of the Earth's population would get ahead to settle on Mars, thus establishing a degree of balance of people on both planets. Although these are all predictions, it seems more and more likely each day. Let us know in the comments below whether you think Elon Musk will be able to colonize Mars until 2050. Don't forget to like this video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to Next Vision and turn on the notification bell if you haven't already. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.